Bill Gates is the richest man, self-made multi-billionaire in the world. Warren Buffett is the second. He would be the first, except that he gave Bill Gates Foundation $22 billion. So that makes him third. By the way, just as of last week, Jeff Bezos of Amazon, a sales guy, is number 4 in the world. He's come up very, very fast. He increased his net worth last year by about $26 billion, which, whether you know it or not, that's good. That's really good. Anyway, they were at a dinner party at Bill Gates' home in Bellevue, Washington, and they were talking to Bill Gates' father, and there were about 110 guests at the dinner, and they were just chatting away, and one of the guests came up and said, "Excuse me, gentlemen, you are some of the most successful people in the world. What would you say is the most important quality of success?" And they three stopped their conversation. Somebody observed this. Stopped their conversation, and they all turned, and they all said simultaneously, focus. Focus is the most important quality for success in the 21st century. And then they looked at each other and they kind of smiled because they'd all said the same thing simultaneously. And I developed a training program back in 2001 called the Focal Point Coaching and Mentoring Program, which is all based on focus. So I'm glad to see that the richest people in the world agree with me. Your ability to focus single-mindedly on one thing at a time and to remain focused requires discipline, character, perseverance, persistence, resistance to distraction of all kinds. But your ability to focus is really the key to success. And one of the things that we focus on is we focus on getting better and better. One of the turning points in my life and Dustin's life and my son's life, Michael, who you'll meet later, is this focus on continual self-improvement. It was one of the turning points in my life, and I meet people all over the place who are very successful, millionaires, multi-millionaires. And one of the turning points in their life, there's 2 or 3 turning points which I'll share with you. One of the turning points in their life was when they began to focus single-mindedly on getting better at what they do. In fact, Stephen Covey said in one of his books, he said the best time management technique in the world is self-improvement, because getting better enables you to get more and more results at a higher and higher level, which earn you more and more money, faster and faster, and easier and easier. It's the most amazing darn thing. People start off and it takes them hours and hours and hours to make a single sale, and once they built their skills high enough, they can make the same number of sales in minutes. I remember I used to spend a week making a single sale, and by the time I developed my skills, I was making 2 or 3 sales a day. My income went from the bottom struggling holes in my shoes to 10 times higher within a year, just by continually learning. So I congratulate you for being here. One more Warren Buffett story, and then I'll start with some interesting ideas for you. Warren Buffett, as you know, began as a teenager. He was 14 years old, and he got a job delivering newspapers in the morning. You'd have to get up at 4 or 5 in the morning. I know, because I did this. And then you go to what is called the shack, where you pick up your papers and you put rubber bands around them, or sometimes you put a bag over them because of the weather, and then you put them on your bags and you bicycle out and you go and you deliver your papers in your neighborhood, and then you get home by 7:30, 7 or 7:30, and you get ready to go to school. So this is a tough life. And so his parents didn't have any money, so that's how he got his job. And he would get up every morning at 4 or 4:30, he would go out and he would deliver newspapers, and he earned 1 penny profit for every newspaper he delivered. Over the course of the years while he was going to school, he delivered 200,000 newspapers, and he earned $2,000. And with that $2,000, when he got out of Columbia University, with that $2,000, he made his first investment. Now he studied and studied and studied and studied, and he made his first investment, and whether it was good or not, it was the starting point of his career. Over time, people noticed that he turned the 2,000 into 4,000 and turned into 8,000. And they said, "Warren, he's a 22-year-old kid now, 23, can you invest my money, doing the same things you're doing?" So Warren said, "Sure," and he set up a little investment consultancy where he would not only invest his own money, but he would invest the money of other people. Today, his company, which is called Berkshire Hathaway, had sales last year of about $350 billion. And the profit from Berkshire Hathaway was about $25 billion, which again, as I said earlier, is good. And so he started off with $2,000, and by continually reinvesting the money, buying more companies and so on, he had a very simple strategy. He said, buy a company that is profitable, and then take the profits and buy other companies. Wow, geez, that's deep. So that's all he did. He buys profitable companies. He leaves the management in place, takes the extra cash flow and buys more companies. He's been doing that for years. There are people all over the world called Buffett billionaires. These are people who started investing with Warren Buffett, like you buy a mutual fund, and Warren Buffett sort of had a little mutual fund. You buy a mutual fund, and these people are now billionaires and multi-billionaires because their money has grown so much over the years. So here's my point. He was approached recently by a reporter, and they said, Mr. Buffett, you're the best investor in the world today, maybe the best investor in history. What do you think is the best investment today? Where should a person put their money? And he responded almost without hesitating. He said, the best investment today is back into yourself, is invest the money into yourself to get better at what it is you're doing right now. There's no better investment. It's completely under your control. It never fluctuates. It compounds and grows throughout your career. You can add this investment to your other investment in self-development, so you can grow faster and faster and earn more and more money and so on. So what you're doing is the same strategy as the smartest investor in history, is investing money and time in yourself to become better at what you do. And I hope that you make this, if you haven't already, a lifelong commitment. There was a woman who retired from Fortune magazine after, 45 years. One of the most respected women in journalism. And she'd been with Fortune since she was 21. She had a direct line to Warren Buffett. He was one of the few people that would always take her calls because he respected her so much. And they asked her, what was the reason for your incredible success and the respect and prestige and esteem that you have? Everybody who knows you thinks you're an incredible person. She said, well, my father taught me this. He said, always go to bed smarter than you woke up that morning. Always make sure you go to bed smarter than you woke up that morning. Learn something every day. Learn something every day. And I read another one-liner the other day, is a father used to sit down and grill his kids. And this is by another billionaire. Grill his kids, say, what did you fail at today? What did you fail at today? And every night they had to come home and show that they had tried something and hadn't worked out. They'd gone beyond their comfort zone. And so every night he'd have a little review on what you failed at today and what you learned from it. What did you fail at? What did you learn from it? He said, those lessons made me rich, he said. Some of the richest people in the world say that. It's not your successes, and Bill Gates says it, it's not your successes that make you successful, it's your failures that you learn from. So every time you make a mistake, you say, what can I learn from this mistake? In Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, he found 17 characteristics of the richest people, richest self-made millionaires and billionaires in American history, and one of the 17 characteristics was a lifelong concern with learning from failure. And whenever they had a failure of any kind, the first thing they asked is, what can I learn from this? What are the lessons that I can learn? And so Harvard did a study recently, and they looked at the leaders of Fortune 500 companies, and they asked them the question, what was your biggest failure, and what did you learn from it? And every one of them sort of went blank, huh? And your biggest failure, you've been in business for decades, what was your biggest failure? And every one of them said, I'm sorry, I really don't know what you're talking about. I've never failed at all. Yes, but what about when this division went bankrupt and this product collapsed and everything else? Oh, you're talking about learning experiences. He said, yes, I've had a lot of learning experiences. I've had painful learning experiences. I've had costly learning experiences. I've had drawn out learning experiences, but never had a failure. What they found is that leaders, and this was the Harvard Business Journal, they said leaders never use the word failure. They never even think in terms of failure. They simply think in terms of lessons learned. And that's what Napoleon Hill found in the early 20s, is the top people he spoke to could not recall a failure. They could only recall learning experiences. So let me begin with something that is very important to me. As a matter of fact, I just reviewed a book on this subject, which is coming out by one of the biggest publishers in America this fall. I just finished reading all of what they call the red line. It's the final version before it goes to the printers and the press, and it'll be out. And this book is called How to Increase Your Income, something like that. Well, it's based on a concept that I discovered many years ago. And the question is this: what is your most valuable financial asset? What is your most valuable financial asset? And when I first heard that question, I didn't really know what the answer was. And I started to think financial assets. And of course, I was poor at that time. So what have you got? A car that you owe payments on, and you have furniture in your rented apartment, and maybe some clothes and things like that. And I learned then that your most valuable financial asset is your earning ability. Economists are now calling this your earning power. Your earning power is your power to go into the marketplace and earn money. The economists with Forbes and Fortune are saying that 80 to 90% of your financial value is your earning power, what I call your earning ability. Now, your earning ability is your ability to get results that people will pay you for. It's your ability to get results that people will pay you for. And so your whole focus as you're going through your career is to always ask, how can I increase my earning ability, my earning power? How can I increase the quality and quantity of results that I can get for other people that they will pay me more money for? And this question has to be a focal point. It has to be a focus question. You have to think about it every day, and you have to think every day about how can I increase my earning ability? How can I increase my ability to get results? And I'm going to show you several little techniques that you can use to double your income in the next few weeks or few months. Some people double their income in the next few days with these techniques. I, believe it or not, am the best-selling time management author in the world, in history. I sold more books in more languages in time management than anybody else alive. So I'm going on now 5-6 million books in 42 languages on time management. So I know a little bit about time management. And I go through sometimes and I cherry pick. I find every so often I stumble across a concept that someone has come up with that is priceless. Holy smokes. If you do that, you'll double your income. You cannot not double your income. If you do 2 of these, you'll triple your income. And if you do 4 of them, you'll quadruple your income, and far faster than you can imagine. So would everybody here like to double their income? Yes. Say yes. Yes. Okay. Well, I'll give you a very simple technique to do it. Absolutely guaranteed, slam dunk. Works 100% of the time. I've spoken in 77 countries. Works in every country, every culture, in every situation. And it's very simply this. I want you to imagine, maybe I can use this. The first time I gave a seminar, I was telling Dustin, the first time I gave a seminar, I was doing this and I was writing on the board, and the hotel brought me in non-removable ink pens. So you write on the board and you take this and you go to erase it, and it doesn't erase. And so I wrote the whole board, had the whole board fixed. I said, excuse me, I started to erase. And it was what do they call these pens that pardon? No, not anyway. So I look at this and my heart goes, oops. I sure hope this is erasable. So imagine that this is you. Whoop, this is you. All right. And there's 2 types of activities that you can do each day, and we call these A activities and B activities. Okay. Now, an A activity is an activity that moves you toward a goal that you say that you want for yourself. You want to earn more money, you want to be healthier, happier, have a nicer family, you want to live in a better house and car. So these are A activities. These are your goals. These are things that you say that you want. And this is, I'm emphasizing this because it's amazing how many people are unclear about this. Now, a B activity is an activity that does not move you toward something you say that you want, or even worse, moves you away. So here's how you double your income. Do only A activities and don't do any more B activities. Don't do anything that does not move you in the direction of a goal that you say you want. I was listening to a strategic planner a couple of weeks ago, and she had this one line. She said, this is the most important line that you'll ever learn in this age of electronic distractions. Before you do anything, ask yourself, is this moving me toward my most important goal, or is this just a distraction? And we have entered into, as you know, the age of this distraction. Distraction is killing people. So what you do is you stop and think before you act.